One of the most difficult things to do in life is to forgive someone who has hurt you deeply or repetitively hurt you deeply or maybe betrayed you in some way, cheated on you, lied to you, stole from you, whatever it might be, right? And there are times when we say there's no way I could ever forgive that person. And maybe you're sitting here watching this video right now saying I could never forgive them. They don't deserve my forgiveness, right? And in that concept, they don't deserve my forgiveness. Basically, what we're saying is I choose to hang on to anger and pain with this person or this group of people versus releasing and letting it go. Now, of course, it doesn't make sense, right? Like, who wants to hold on to pain? But when we think that by lacking giving forgiveness to someone, they don't even have to know you've forgiven them. It's not about the thing you go and advertise it, right? Whether you're still with them or they've been gone for 30 years. We don't tell anyone that we're forgiving them and we've gone through the process. There's no need to. And that's usually a passive aggressive move. So there's no need to say to someone, oh, by the way, I forgave you for all the terrible things you did. If you want to do it, I guess you can. I wouldn't waste my time. I'd rather just focus on forgiveness because when you do forgive someone, and I'm going to talk to you about how to do it in a very slow way, you are free. And this really comes to mind today because on my radio show, I interviewed Scarlett Lewis. And Scarlett Lewis is the founder of the ChooseLoveMovement.org. ChooseLoveMovement.org. I'll put it down in the file as well. But her son Jesse was murdered at 6 years of age at Sandy Hook Elementary School. And Scarlett has fully forgiven the murderer of her child. And I mean fully forgiven. And it's mind blowing. And I just interviewed her today. And every time I interview her, I say the same thing. I'll say to the audience, this woman has done something I don't even know if I could do. And I'm a counselor, for God's sake. And I've been in this work for 42 years. And I know how important it is. If you look at resentments, do you have resentments at anyone right now? Can you let go of them? Let me tell you a process. And let me tell you another story first, because this just popped up. Yesterday, I was working with a young guy in the military, 31, 32 years of age, something like that. And he was passed over for a promotion. And everyone said he was going to get it and he was going to get it and he didn't. And so he has this huge anger at the commanding officer that passed him over. So it took us about 6 weeks to work through it. And he's in a totally different space right now. We have individuals like that we work with all the time. First responders, my gosh, there's 3 nurses that live in central New York, not far from where I grew up, Syracuse, New York, that we've worked with for a while now. And all 3 of them came to me because they had supervisors, different supervisors, that they felt were overlooking them for advancement. So think about this. If you feel you've been overlooked and you come into work every day with a bad attitude, what's the chance of being advanced, right? It's very, very little. So we work on forgiveness to be free. We work on forgiveness to be grounded. And we teach a 4-step forgiveness principle, but I'm going to just go to the second step. The first step is getting rid of your anger, your rage, your resentment, your frustration. And if you want to go through the program with me, just reach out to me at talkdavid.com and I'll put this down as well. But there's a lot of us, you might be single, you might be married. Maybe if you're in a relationship, you've been in a relationship for 10, 20, 30 years and you have resentments of something that happened years ago. We need to clear it up. Phase 2, the second step of our forgiveness program, is we take all of this pain that we've been carrying from what this other person did and we write out, I forgive you for, and then the specific act. Right now, here's where we slow forgiveness down. When we write, I forgive, we stop before we write anything else. And we breathe in the word forgive. And we exhale. And then we finish the sentence, you for. And then we'll write it again. If they did 7 or 10 or 20 or 30 things that drive you crazy, we write down each one in step 1, right? I'm really frustrated that you did this, but I'm only talking about step 2. It's a 4-step process, but step 2 is so crucial because we've updated the way that we have been teaching this over the last 30 years. So what we found is that when you write down, I forgive you, or the person's name, I forgive, we pause, take a big breath. Hold and then slowly exhale. When you breathe like that, you're reducing anxiety. and you're allowing that thought of forgiveness to come into your heart and soul. When forgiveness is truly in your heart and soul, you might be able to even see that person over time and not have that in your stomach. I remember years ago, oh my God, I let this guy borrow a fairly large amount of money from me, and he was going to pay me back and pay me back. And he said, can you give me 6 months? I said, sure, it's 6 months. He says to me, you know what? I need another 6 months. And I said, wait a minute, we've got to work something out here. And he disappeared, right? So I had to work on forgiveness. There was no restitution. I actually contacted an attorney, and he said, you know, it's a waste of your time, David, to go into court for something like this. It really is. And even though it was a substantial amount of money, the reason why the attorney said that was because when he checked into the files, which I don't have access to, the background of the guy that borrowed money, he had done it multiple times with other people. He said, David, I would just take a big breath, work it out with inside yourself. And that's when I started saying, you know what? I teach a program on forgiveness, and I started to do it. I forgive you for taking this money and not repaying it. The slowing down to forgiveness is crucial. You know, it's just like praying, right? Like a lot of people will go, oh my God, please bless me here and bless me here. And they're racing through it and rushing through it and rushing through it and racing through it. Are you feeling God's presence? Are you feeling the Spirit? Are you feeling universal energy or whatever is your higher power? So that's what we want to do with forgiveness. We want to slow down our prayers, which I'll do another video on, but we want to slow down the concept of forgiveness. And remember this final point. We forgive to be free. We don't forgive to let the other person off the hook. We forgive so we can be free. If I can help you at all, I'll put links below. Check out our website, talkdavid.com. If you're a member of the military, active military or veteran, and you have a lot of resentments, a lot of frustration, we could be with past commanders, current ones, whatever, join our group, helpveteransheal.org. If you're a first responder, like the nurses I was talking about that I work with, and you have a lot of resentment, it could be at a boss, it could be at a former partner, whatever, let's join our group, helpingfirstrespondersheal.org. We'll be going through forgiveness in those groups as well. And then if you need help one-on-one, just reach out to me at talkdavid.com, okay? Have a beautiful day and slow the process of forgiveness down. It's a gift that you give to yourself. I'm David Essel.